Our next story concerns a group of Iranians dedicated to the overthrow of the current regime in Tehran. These people have been living in an Iraqi camp for several years and until recently were under American protection. But that has changed. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin reports on the complicated and dangerous situation.
On July 28th and 29th, 60 miles from Baghdad, Iraqi security forces surrounded the refugee camp known as Camp Ashraf and tried to establish a police station there. After 2.5 hours of tense negotiations and vocal demonstrations, the Iraqi security forces killed 7 camp residents, reportedly wounding 500. 4 more residents later died of their wounds. But the most chilling moment, according to the Camp Ashraf residents, was when they asked a U.S. soldier who was videotaping the incident for help. At that point, the 2 U.S. soldiers from a nearby base got in their vehicle and drove away, leaving the residents to deal with the Iraqi troops.
Article 45 of the Geneva Convention makes it very clear that despite handing over the protection of Ashraf to Iraqi government, the United States has the responsibility to monitor and protect them.
But the U.S. military says its hands are tied by the new Status of Forces agreement that puts the Iraqis in control of all cities in Camp Ashraf and places U.S. forces in merely a supporting role. The State Department agrees, quote, "The government of Iraq's action in Ashraf was a reasonable act of sovereignty and in keeping with its obligation to provide security at Ashraf. The MEK, Mojahedin al-Khalq leadership ignored attempts to arrange a peaceful outcome and instead staged violent demonstrations to oppose Iraqi security forces. For years, these residents of Camp Ashraf have been pressuring Iran's ruling mullahs. In 2002, they provided U.S. spy agencies and the IAEA with some of the most detailed intelligence yet on Iran's nuclear program.
Now these dissidents say Iraq's Shia-led government is pandering to Iran's leaders, and with U.S. forces leaving Iraq soon, both Iran and Iraq's leaders are trying to get rid of the residents of Camp Ashraf. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.